Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with the passing cold front. Behind that front, quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some breakup here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We will continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you could travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot but staying quieter. Panhandle to panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three,
Red 57! Red 57! Hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
CityNet Statewide Sportsline with you for a Tuesday, last night of the week, for the show to be in Morgantown in the Health Plan Studios. The Health Plan Studios will relocate to Omaha, Nebraska starting tomorrow. And we'll have shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from the College World Series. How does that sound, guys?
How about that? We are headed to Omaha. Can't wait to get there and check it out and see how it looks. And weather looks a little bit of both, guys. It looks really hot starting tomorrow and then cools off into the high 70s.
Okay.
For Omaha in June, that's pretty good. And then 90s as you move in through next week.
Rain.
Hopefully the Mountaineers are still playing. And a little bit of a chance there. Always a chance. Midwest.
Yeah. Well,
Midwest.
Once it heats up again, then you've got the volatility for those thunderstorms. They had rain today at the state high school baseball tournament down in Huntington. And they got through the first 2 games with the second game delayed significantly, but they got through it. And then the third game was delayed slightly in its start, but it's moving right along. St. Albans and John Marshall scoreless in the 5th. So we'll check in with the guys in Huntington coming up in just a couple of minutes. Earlier today, Ripley beat Spring Valley 12-10. Crazy comeback for Ripley. They were down 8-0. And Bridgeport rallied in the bottom of the 7th, scored 2, and beat East Fairmont 3-2. So a couple of comeback wins in the AAA portion of the state high school baseball championships. So that's where I'll be going for the rest of the week through Saturday, and it'll be Brad and Hoppy and Tony. They will be hosting the Sportsline from Omaha with input from Greg. So that's the plan for the rest of the week.
We're bringing everybody. This is a big event. We're bringing everybody.
304 Talk 304. That's the text line. We want to get in. We do have a guest lined up. A little bit earlier today, I visited with the beat writer for Troy University for the Troy Messenger, Josh Boutwell, and got a little bit of a scouting report on Troy. And there's some really, really interesting similarities. Of course, West Virginia's in a Power 4 league and one of the top 3 baseball conferences in America, so there's a huge difference there. But there's a lot of parallels with this team. You've got a very young head coach and a coach who's in his first head coaching job after a long stint as an assistant, and you've got a program who had never been there before. So Skylar Meade takes this program over, just like Steve Sabins took this program over, and the goal was Omaha. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, I think he's in his 5th year. Of course, Steve in his 2nd after the long stint on Randy Mazey's staff. Lo and behold, Troy recruits well. They beef up the non-conference schedule. They played a very, very difficult schedule. They get to a regional, win it, get to a super regional after an upset on the other half of the bracket, host it like West Virginia, and they're on to Omaha.
If West Virginia wasn't in this event, they might have had the best visuals of any team in this tournament. They packed that stadium. There was over 7,000 people there in their super regional, and they were going bananas. So it's really interesting to get these two teams matching up in the first game, 2 electric fan bases, and 2 teams looking for their first win. So someone's getting their first College World Series win on Friday, guaranteed at 1 o'clock Central Time.
And one of the things I asked our guest was, is this the greatest moment in Troy athletics history? And he said, they've won national championships at lower levels, but, it's hard to argue against that. Troy going to the College Baseball World Series.
Pretty awesome. That's a great question you asked there.
Well, he had a very good answer.
Yeah.
So we'll hear that. Again, he's out covering an event today, so I had to record it. But we'll hear that conversation coming up with Josh Boutwell of the Troy Messenger.
And we should ask that same question. Where does this rank in terms of West Virginia's greatest athletic accomplishments? I think that would be interesting to hear from everybody today. There's been a lot of highlights in this athletic program, Greg, over the years, and we can go down them, and I have a feeling we'll go down that memory lane tonight with some of these texts. But where exactly does this rank getting to the College World Series for the first time? In essence, you're down to the Final 8, but the path that you have to take to wind through these regionals to get there, what it meant to win on your home field, how does that change the equation? I think that's pretty special. Normally, when you have high-level national success, it's not in your own building. It happens somewhere else. This happened in your home stadium. So how does that change the equation? Where would you rank this in terms of WVU athletic accomplishments across every sport? 304-825-5304.
And what about the run this team is on? I mean, you talk about the run that the basketball team got on to get to the Final Four. You talk about the Joe Alexander-fueled run at the end of the year. Where does this run rank among the greatest in WVU sports history?
I think the other thing, Greg, you take into this account too is how far you've come as a program, right? We've talked a million times just from a facility standpoint and a fan base perspective, and getting right here on the doorstep of playing for a national championship. That plays into the equation here, right?
Yeah, I mean, certainly does, all that. But, you think of the success West Virginia's had in so many sports. And again, this is taking it to a different level in baseball. But, football opportunities to play for national championships, Final Fours in basketball, soccer, and think of what both the men's and women's have done in getting to where they did. I mean, infinite national championships in rifle. So there's been success. I mean, this isn't, a one-hit parade, but certainly for baseball, it is an optimum. There's no doubt.
This is a special one, too. And I do, the other part is I was thinking about this event in particular, and I mentioned, personally, I've been a fan of this event since I was 5 years old, going back all the way and watching this when it first started being shown on ESPN. The other thing this brings to it, it's almost like the Masters golf tournament, because it is situated in one location. There is some mystique around this that even a college football national championship or Final Four doesn't have, because it changes venues. The fact that this is located and anchored in Omaha and what it draws, that adds a little mystique to this event as well that I think kicks it up a little bit.
How does it compare to the 88 and 93 runs in football?
I mean, that's all individual perspective, right? And the recency bias is going to make you think of this, but those were special moments. Those were really special moments. The Final Four was incredible in the run there, and I'm not gonna delude what has just happened, but the 88 season, but again, sort of like this one, because it's the first time it really ever happened.
Right.
That had a mystique about it and brought a fervor from the fan base I've never seen.
It was such a gap between the Final Four appearances, too.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. I mean, probably the greatest. I haven't been to all the bowls like you have, but probably the greatest Mountaineer sporting event that I've ever attended was West Virginia beating Kentucky and Syracuse with John Wall and that whole group.
DeMarcus Cousins, Patrick
5
Peterson.
NBA first-round picks. And just watching John Wall, the fastest human being I've ever seen with a basketball, with my own eyes, just flying up and down the court. And West Virginia wins that game at Syracuse to go to the Final Four. So, again, where does this rank? 304 Talk 304. And the first text under the wire is the Final Four year, the Huggins Final Four year. There's one vote from this texture of that being the best event and the best run ever.
No, there are no wrong votes.
No,
you're right.
That's what I said. We're going to take a trip down memory lane tonight on these things, and there isn't anything wrong with any of these, and they're all going to be awesome moments. I mean, heck, the 05 Sugar Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, those were iconic moments, and some of it was on-field stuff, but some of what was happening around the programs at that time. Obviously, we know what was happening around the Fiesta Bowl. Rich had just left. This was in total, utter chaos. He had no shot to beat Oklahoma, seemingly, and you walk in and you get it. The 05 Sugar Bowl, Big East was in peril. The Big East was in deep, deep trouble as those teams had departed and left the league and gone out and joined the ACC, and there was a major amount of questions about what was going to happen to the Big East, and there were many that said that, Greg, for that period of time, West Virginia saved an entire league.
Yeah.
Because you went in and ran up and down the field on Georgia, and it saved the league. Now, ultimately, the league went away, but you did give it a stay of execution for a while and allowed yourself to play yourself into another role. So there's been some massive moments. There's no question. It doesn't have to just be when you've played for a national championship to get those great moments.
Good point.
304 Talk 304, where does this rank among the best moments, the greatest moments in Mountaineer sports history, and the run this team is on through the regionals and the super regional where they outscored their opponent 29-3? Where does that rank among the greatest moments in WVU sports history? Text line is open. We'll get a little scouting report on Troy as we move along on the show tonight and check in with the state high school baseball championships as well. This is day 3 of the tournament, which will extend through Saturday with the state championship games. You're listening to the CityNet statewide Sportsline. We're in the Health Plan studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps, and never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs and 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
CityNet statewide Sportsline for Tuesday. Sportsline relocates to Omaha in the College World Series Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure you join us for that. And, of course, Friday's game will first pitch will be set for 2 o'clock. 304 Talk 304. The text question tonight, where does this achievement by the baseball team rank among the all-time great athletic achievements at WVU? So let's get to the text. Texter says, I'm a sucker for an underdog story, but I think the 93 team started the season unranked. To me, that makes it number 1. So this person ranks the 93 football team number 1, the 88 team number 2, and the 09-2010 basketball team ranked pretty high, top 10 maybe. This baseball team ranked top 20 preseason.
Mm-hmm. It did.
So in his mind, number 1 is the 93 team. And, Greg, that is a true statement. They were unranked at the start of the season.
Yeah, they had stumbled. They were probably more talented the year before, but that was a team that there's some dissension in the ranks and just never quite caught on, didn't go to a bowl game despite having a bunch of pros on that team. But the next year, it just all worked. And they won some very tight games. And
Mike Logan at Boston College.
Yeah, exactly. Everything went perfectly for them that year. So, again, there are no wrong answers. That was a fun one.
It's way up the list.
Yep.
The 93 Miami game is in my top 5 of all-time Mountaineer sporting events.
It's a good one.
If the Kentucky the Kentucky regional final game's number 1 on my list, then that 93 Miami game. You talk about people packed in the aisles and on the grass before touchdown terrace. there was people everywhere.
There's no fire marshal allowed anywhere within. But, and again, the Final Four was something, but the Big East Championship leading up to that, the year before when they made a run to the Big East Finals and got to the Elite Eight, I mean, again, because it was new at that point, or at least you hadn't experienced it since Jerry West.
Good ones.
I mean, those are all moments.
That Wake Forest game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that Wake Forest game is way up my list too, right? I mean, that was an unbelievable. Again, doesn't have to be for a national championship.
Yeah.
That's way up the list there. It's interesting on that Big East Championship. We've talked about it so many times. That's the one of all the things. So I've been here 30 plus years. That's the one to me that is the highest level of achievement that gets the least discussion.
Yeah.
Because you went right on top of it with a Final Four run. So it's lumped in there, and we mention it, but we don't get to celebrate that. That was an unbelievable. You won the Big East Championship in Madison Square Garden. So we talked how great it was watching this stadium sing Country Roads. And that might have ticked above for my most favorite Country Roads moment. But when we're standing in Madison Square Garden singing Country Roads, that's pretty darn good, guys. So that's one to me, Greg, in terms of that scale of great achievements that you don't talk about enough. The Big East Championship in basketball is probably one that's underrated, if that's possible.
Texter says, I don't think this great baseball accomplishment is greater than the football undefeated seasons or major bowl game victories. I do think with the new format, if WVU football ever makes the college football playoffs, it would be equivalent to what the baseball team has done this year.
We said that. Can you imagine? I mean, we just saw what a home game was like in the regional and super regional. When you get an opportunity to host a college football playoff game, with the expansion of it, it's going to come.
Yes.
That moment will be incredible.
That will be insane as well. Yes, good point. Good call by the texter there.
Texter says, you guys tell me, is it in the top 5 for you? The Miami game for the Big East Championship was a big deal. Yeah, I just mentioned that. That's definitely in my top 5, 1993. Let's see. I'll say the 1988 football team playing for a national championship and the 2010 men's Final Four. If we play like we did in the super regional, we can make a run. Don't sleep on 7, 8, 9 hitters. They're on a roll. Holy cow, is that a true statement?
Well, as we talked last night, 500 in the regional, or in the super regional. Drove in 15 runs between 7, 8, and 9 in the super regional alone.
2 games.
Drove in 15 in 2 games.
Yeah, Kresser, Lumsden, and Hall, 12 for 24, 12 runs scored, 15 RBI. So that's a very good point. Here you go. Add a layer to it. What happens if West Virginia wins the College World Series, where that will rank?
Way up the list. Start getting the eraser out and moving some things down the list. You win a natty, you walk into Omaha and win a World's Championship, Hunter, in this.
But the fact that this was at home adds a whole another rung or two to this thing.
It does. I just kept thinking that during the super regional run of just how unique that moment was, that you could celebrate it on your home turf. It doesn't happen that way in many sports. And even the women's basketball side, had that shot gone down, that would be an all-time memory, especially the way Gia Cook crossed her over. The highlight nature of winning that would have been great. But then you would have still had to go on to some other rounds there. The fact that this propelled you into what's equivalent to a Final Four, I know not number of teams, but in terms of stature, where there's you just get me to the College World Series, then we'll worry about winning it. That was the attitude to get to the Final Four. Just get into the Final Four, then you worry about winning it. The fact that you could do that at home, and it was extended over 2 weekends, but basically a week's time frame, right? Like 9 days, you had all of those moments lumped together. So for me, I think that's what raises the floor a little bit on this thing, is that there were so many moments that now are going to get melded into one of the regional and super regional put together. That's hard to beat. That's a lot of games over 2 weekends.
Texter says, from a momentum standpoint, this feels like beating Penn State in 1984. So there's another great one for the list. Texter asks, will Perez be physically able to play in Omaha?
No chance. Yeah. No chance.
He's was walking around with a significant injury.
Yeah, he's got a significant brace on. I talked to him Saturday after the game as he was walking out on crutches still with that big brace, Greg. And hopefully that rehab goes well and you can get him back in the gold and blue next year, because, again, he was electric early in the season. A big part of why you got as far as you did, as he carried the back end of that bullpen there for the early part of the season.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern is is he able to play for you next season
right.
if the rehab goes quickly?
Question about the money you make, if any, if you go to the College World Series. What income stream is generated for West Virginia and the Big 12 through participation in the College World Series?
None. I asked about that this weekend because we had this question last week as well. None. I mean, it's not like the NCAA men's basketball tournament where there are units handed out and you can make significant money for yourself and for your league. They'll cover some expenses, but West Virginia will end up having to pay some just to go.
Yeah.
Is that fair, Brad?
Big travel group here.
Yeah.
They will make money, though, in licensing.
Oh, absolutely.
Strap in. That stuff's arriving now in different retail outlets around the state and nation. So there is some gear flying off the shelves right now.
Yeah, so the merchandising and obviously the indirect revenue, which comes from all the publicity that we've talked about for the last 2 weeks. And that increases significantly during the College World Series.
Brad, you were in the marketing side of things. I would think that the sales team, the Mountaineer Athletic Club team, they're probably putting together some plans right now.
They're doing all right. The phones are ringing. Yeah, and that helps everything. Yeah. That's one of those rising tides lifts all boats, and there's no question that helps. Listen, there's admissions counselors here at WVU that are taking advantage of these moments and these clips and these pictures. Then that stuff's going out to prospective students. So this isn't just an athletic silo that is getting the bump from this run. This is an entire university.
Texter asked, did the baseball team have recruits at the playoff games? Well, they are actively recruiting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about recruits.
Yeah, because the portal's open.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, in another stroke of genius by the NCAA, the portal is open before the season ends.
Texter says the 88 football team has to be number one and will be until West Virginia actually wins a football or basketball national championship. And this person agrees that the 93 Miami game at home was one of the greatest events all time. All right, we got a longer text here. I'm going to read this one, then we'll take a break. Good evening, guys. I think this fantastic baseball run is top 10. I don't see it making top 5 right now. I would put the national championship in basketball with Jerry West, put that in front of it, as well as the 88-93 football games, then the Final Four run to Indianapolis, and then the Fiesta Bowl, Sugar Bowl, and Orange Bowls. Now, if we go out and win the whole thing, then it'll be number 1. So the NIT championship, number 1 for this texter.
Wonder if it changes your perception. Then you do another subset survey here. If you were in attendance for those games, where you then rate it versus if you just watched on TV.
That's a good point because, we've all heard about the Jerry West getting the Mountaineers to the finals in the championship game, though they lost. But because I didn't see it, I've only seen a couple of video clips of it. It's hard to personally rate it as high as it probably justifiably should be. Right? So
agree. That's why these are great. These are fun.
Yeah.
These are classic sports radio questions because there's no right answer. It's all these people individually feeling it. But I have a feeling if you were over at some of those baseball games over this weekend, you've got this one up there pretty high.
Text line open, 304-TALK 304. We'll take a quick break. We'll get a little scout on Troy University when we return. Again, the text line remains open. What about this Troy team? What is intriguing about it? We will find out from someone who covers the Troy baseball team on a day-to-day basis. When the CityNet statewide sports line continues, CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider, high-speed, reliable fiber. Internet is probably right at your front door. Now's the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust, fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. For years, rural communities in West Virginia waited for reliable, high-speed internet. Now, fiber is most likely at your front door. Public investment helped build the opportunity, and CityNet delivered the service to homes and businesses just like yours. With free equipment, free installation, no contract, and local support you can count on, switching to fiber has never been easier. Fast downloads, smooth streaming, better connections for work, school, and everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Kids are active, and sometimes injuries happen. At WVU Medicine Golisano Children's, our orthopedics team specializes in caring for growing bones, joints, and muscles. From sports injuries and fractures to scoliosis and complex conditions, we provide advanced treatment with a gentle touch. because kids deserve care designed just for them. Call 855-WVU-CARE to schedule an evaluation or visit WVUkids.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with the passing cold front behind that front. Quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some breakup here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We'll continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you could travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot, but staying quieter. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
CityNet statewide Sportsline for this Tuesday. We're inside the Health Plan Studios. Again, the Sportsline will relocate to Omaha for the College World Series for the rest of the week. And Brad and Tony and Hoppy will have coverage from Omaha coming up. All right, what about these Troy University Trojans? Earlier today, I had an opportunity to speak with Josh Boutwell. And Josh is the beat writer for Troy University for the Troy Messenger in Alabama. And obviously they've got a great story too, going to the College World Series for the first time in school history under a young and exciting coach in Skylar Meade. And I asked Josh, was this a surprise to those who follow and cover the Troy program?
They've absolutely built towards this. You know, Skylar Meade, as long as I've known him, Omaha is what he's talked about. I think probably most people would say obviously it's a surprise to the players. I would say it's absolutely not. Skylar, when I talked to him way back in January, the schedule that he built out this year was designed to get them to regionals no matter what. A lot of people didn't like the schedule because of how difficult it was. I think it was maybe ranked the #1 strength of schedule in the country. But you know, they were battle tested, and it's got them where they have. And you know, I don't think I've ever, in terms of any sporting event I've ever covered, been in an atmosphere that we saw this weekend. It was incredible. I mean, you know, a stadium that rightfully only holds a little over maybe 3,000 people in it. You know, they crammed in over 7,000 people on Saturday. Over 13,000 in 2 days. You know, we had literally Veterans Memorial Stadium, the football stadium, fans at the top of it, watching from there over into the Riddle Pace Field. It was incredible. And the entire community has rallied around this team.
Talk a little bit about the coach. I mean, there are parallels to draw between Skyler and Steve Saban's here. They're first-time head coaches. They're both young. They both put their time in as assistants. They both took the job with the anticipation of getting to Omaha. So what's Skyler like, his personality like, and his coaching style?
He's obviously very fun to be around. The players would tell you that for sure. He is very confident, and that carries over into the players. They're very confident. Some people maybe don't like some of that confidence sometimes in terms of opposing fans and opposing teams. But I think one of the probably more of the interesting things about him is, he's one of the few coaches in the country, head coaches in the country that handles the pitchers still. And that makes, that's a big part of the team. It's a big part of his coaching. He's very passionate about pitching and working with the pitchers. It's a very exciting team to watch. They've been good offensively all year, but I don't think anyone saw this coming. The offensive explosion they've had in the postseason, that's really made it even a more exciting team than it already was.
So the offensive leader is Jimmy Janicki.
Yeah, he's definitely, all year long, he's been the most consistent player. He's probably, we can probably say it's a safe bet. He's probably going to break the school record for RBIs this weekend. He gets on base. He drives runs in. He's also defensively, he's one of the better players on the team. He's probably one of the better catchers in the country. I think the thing that Troy really has benefited, not just in this postseason run, but all year, is it hasn't just been one or two guys. It's been really the entire lineup from top to bottom that have played well offensively. We've definitely seen the home runs come in bunches in the postseason, but they have several players like Blake Cavell would be one of the main guys that he's one of the best players in the country in terms of getting walks. Skylar Meade said last week that Blake Cavell's a guy that wakes up in the morning thinking of different ways that he can get a walk. So they have guys like that just get on base better than most in the country. They have the guys that hit a ton of doubles. They have guys like Drew Nelson who can be a power hitter, but he also drives in a lot of runs. He gets on base. Guys like Cody Markham that can hit them deep, but he's also a very athletic guy who can run the bases. So really, it's all the above for these guys.
And again, another parallel to West Virginia. They had a guy, Ben Lumsden, kind of come out of nowhere and hit a ton in the postseason. His only 3 home runs of the year have come in the postseason. Troy's got a guy like that, and Jabe Boroff, who was the most outstanding player in the regionals.
Yeah, that's Jay Bruce. He's a guy that he struggled earlier on in the year, and it's hard to get on the field too because his main position is catcher. So it's hard to get on the field when you're playing behind one of the best catchers in the country. But then when he did have opportunities, he struggled a little bit. But he's also a guy that was a JUCO All-American last year and was the top JUCO player in the state. So, and I think he had a point last year when he hit 6 home runs in a game. So the team was confident in him. The coaches were confident that eventually he would find his way, and boy, did he ever in the postseason.
Benjamin Stubbs started Game 1 of the Super Regional against Little Rock. Do you anticipate him starting Friday?
Yes, he's probably the more consistent starting pitcher for Troy this year, and I think they'll probably go with the hot hand there.
So tell us about Benjamin Stubbs, what he does well.
That was really hard. He's very consistent. I think the biggest thing for a lot of the pitching staff this year there's been consistency among a wide swath of guys. There hasn't been just one guy that's just head and shoulders above everyone else. They have a really consistent pitching staff this year.
Is it a deep staff? Do you have guys that you can turn to early on in this series, you think?
I believe so, yes. But there is some guys that have been banged up that has hampered that a little bit, but I think probably deeper this year than we've seen in past years, definitely.
Mm-hmm. The back end of the bullpen, who are, if you have a lead, who are the guys that we're likely to see to try to close it out?
Dylan Alonso is probably the best closer on the team. I think he has 6 or 7 saves this year. He's been really, really solid. Zach Crotchfeld's another guy, tall, lanky guy, really hard arm. Those are kind of the main guys, I would say.
Again, the community, how much support do you think this team will have in Omaha. Is there buzz about people making the trip?
Oh yeah, we've heard it since the announcement of the Super Regionals of people wanting to get there. Obviously that's a very far trip, but I think Troy's gonna have their share of fan base down there. The community has really surrounded this team, and really it's been a pretty incredible atmosphere.
And put this into perspective, Troy's had great success in football in the past. I mean, is this the greatest athletic achievement for Troy University, or where does it rank?
It's got to be up there as one of the best things that they've ever done, I would say, for sure. There's been tons of Division II national championships, NAIA national championships in the past, but when it comes to Division I, I don't know that there's much that can really compare to this. But when you look at the entire athletic program, it's really impressive what they've done this year with, I believe Troy's the only team in the country with men's basketball and women's basketball, football, and then baseball also all making the postseason. So it's been pretty impressive.
Josh Boutwell there. He's the beat writer for the Troy Messenger for the Troy Trojans. So there you go, guys. The greatest athletic accomplishment probably in Troy athletics history.
Yeah, and they're playing great. And you mentioned it earlier that you look at the 30 losses here, and there may be the tendency to look past this team, but that's certainly not the case. Multiple series against Alabama and Georgia. Southern Miss, who played Auburn. So they've played some teams in this, Alabama 2 different times. They've played teams in this College World Series. Difficult schedule. Have to take them seriously. This is an important game coming up Friday.
So the 2 pitchers that probably you'll see, of course, Benjamin Stubbs, the starter, a little bit of a higher ERA, 6-3 with a 4.93 ERA. Josh talked about the fact that he throws hard, 83 strikeouts and 91 innings, although he's walked 37 batters. And then the closer, Dylan Alfonso, with 7 saves and 4 wins, 55 strikeouts in 46 2/3 innings. And offensively, it's a Troy team that's hit 93 home runs. And as Josh pointed out, they're running a little bit more in the postseason, like West Virginia is. They have 55 stolen bases, although they don't have as many as West Virginia. They don't steal at nearly as high a percentage, but they will mix that in as well, along with the power numbers.
And they put the ball in play, 3rd nationally in K rate this season, so you don't get a lot of strikeouts from their hitters. They'll put the bat on the ball and put it in play. But, again, should play into West Virginia's hands as one of the best defenses in the country, as we've seen all year.
Of course, it leaves you to wonder with West Virginia, what will be the rotation that Randy Mazie, that Steve Sabins uses. Do you go with what you've sort of done in recent weekends and in Chance and Cole, then follow up with Maxiel? Do you mix this up at all? You certainly hope you have at least a 3rd game. So who's the 3rd pitcher?
The first two, Greg, that's a great debate by you. Do you do Cole first as you've done the first 2? It gives Yale an extra day to rest because you're not playing again until Sunday. But this is a heavy lefty lineup for Troy. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if Yale works his way in there to get a lot of left on left with the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. So, again, a lot of interesting decisions coming for Steve.
We will find out very soon. We're sending our reporters to Omaha to kind of ferret out that information over the next couple of days. And, of course, we'll have it for you on the Sports Line. Text line still open, 304-TALK-304. We'll get back to the text. We'll check in with Huntington when we return as well. We're in the Health Plan Studios. This is the CityNet statewide sports line, and we're back right after this.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family-owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to wvmetronews.com and vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to wvmetronews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at wvmetronews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, MetroNews. Vote now at wvmetronews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Tuesday night, CityNet statewide Sportsline. We're in the Health Plan Studios. Kyle, Greg, and Brad. Let's go to Huntington. It's AAA day for the quarterfinals of the state baseball tournament, this expanded event. Dave Wilson is with us. And Dave, good evening.
Hey, Kyle. Good evening.
Got a classic going. St. Albans and John Marshall at last check scoreless in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And we have moved to the top of the 8th inning, Kyle, and still no score between these two teams. An old-fashioned pitcher's duel, if you will, here between these two teams. Neither offense can really get much of anything going. John Marshall had an opportunity with bases loaded, less than 2 outs, but back-to-back strikeouts ended that threat. And here we are, top of the 8th and scoreless between the Monarchs and the Red Dragons.
The game previous to this one, I know you had the call, and it was wild early. Spring Valley making its first trip to the state tournament, jumped out 8-0 on defending champ Ripley. But again, Ripley, they're the defending champs, and I believe 8 of the 9 starters from that team that won it all a year ago are back, including Bryson Casto, who ended up the winning pitcher today, right? Came out of the bullpen?
Yeah, he had to come out of the bullpen after Parker Keller started the ball game for Ripley. And he got rocked there in that first inning. Like you said, 8 runs, but Ripley answers with 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning to scrape back into the ball game. It's 8-5. That's when the skies opened up. We had sheets of rain coming down, about an hour weather delay. And after that, Bryson Casto comes out of the bullpen. He pitches 5 innings, and he kept the Spring Valley hitters off balance. They were never really able to mount much of a rally. Meanwhile, Ripley just kept clawing back. A run in the second, 2 in the fourth, and then scored 4 times in the 6th inning to give themselves just enough cushion to fend off another Spring Valley rally in the 7th. The Timberwolves would score 1 time. They had bases loaded in that inning, but Ripley was able to pitch out of trouble, and the Vikings came back to win 12-10 to move on to the semifinals.
And game 1 of the day, in 2 of the 3 classes, Dave, we've nearly had the 8th seed beat the 1 seed, and it almost happened today. East Fairmont jumped out on Bridgeport, had the lead into the bottom of the 7th, but again, that Bridgeport championship DNA came through. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th and beat East Fairmont 3-2.
Yeah, you can just never count Bridgeport out of any ball game. 3 outs from elimination, and they're in the bottom of the 7th, and Bridgeport just found a way. It wasn't necessarily fancy, Kyle. It's an RBI ground out by Jackson McNally, then a sac fly from Guy Alavio, and that's it. That's how they won. I mean, that's not highlight material, Kyle. That's get them on, get them over, get them in. And Bridgeport, as fundamentally sound of a baseball team as you will see in any setting, got the job done when it counted.
So Bridgeport 3, East Fairmont 2, Ripley 12, Spring Valley 10, and we've got currently St. Albans and John Marshall locked in a scoreless duel in extra innings in the 8th inning. And then what do we have tonight?
Final game of the night will be Robert C. Byrd taking on Shady Spring. Shady Spring 27-7, Robert C. Byrd 23-11, and this is kind of that continuation of that class, Kyle, that's come through Robert C. Byrd and has had all the success reaching the postseason in the football, reaching the postseason, getting to the state tournament in basketball, and that's continued into the baseball season as well.
Very good. Well, enjoy the call tonight. Hopefully you'll dodge the rain, and we'll see you down there tomorrow.
So far, so good. The rain looks like it's skirting around like southeast of town right now, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed.
All right, very good. Dave Wilson down in Huntington, Shady Spring, and Robert C. Byrd tonight after they decide this John Marshall St. Albans game in extra innings. And then tomorrow night, guys, you've got the 4 Quad A quarterfinal round games, and then it's back around to the semis Thursday. The single A teams played on Saturday. They get that time off. They'll be able to reset their pitching staffs. They come back and play their semifinal round games on Thursday. So it's an expanded tournament.
That is a nice advantage then for them to have all those days off and get their pitchers back with those innings resetting.
No doubt. And that'll rotate. So this year it's single A. Next year it'll be a different class that has that situation where they're playing on Saturday and then off until Thursday. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now we need your help. Please go to WVMetroNews.com. Vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to WVMetroNews.com. Click the Vote Now button and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at WVMetroNews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and, of course, Metro News. Vote now at WVMetroNews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever. We've got a couple of minutes left. Let's go back to the text line. Let's see. This one of this texter's favorite events, the coming out game for freshman Pat White and Steve Slayton against Louisville in the unlikely triple overtime win. Pat entered the game due to an injury in the third quarter, down by 17. This is one of my favorite Mountaineer moments, but this trip to Omaha is a close second for me. That, of course, that 46-44 triple overtime game, and this texter was there, and that's the top moment for him.
That was fun. There's no doubt. That was an awesome moment. That's on my list, too. What's interesting about that one, I don't think you knew in the moment how impactful it was. You knew it was a great game and a great comeback and an unbelievable single game, Greg, but you had no idea what Pat White and Steve Slayton were going to become moving on. So that, to me, is one that has elevated itself up based on what those guys went on to become.
The fact that the texter stayed to the end because there were a lot of people who bailed.
No, there were 132,000 people at that game.
They all stayed to the end.
Left.
They all stayed.
Yeah, nobody left.
This texter's top three in no particular order. This year's run to the College World Series, the Final Four Deshaun Butler basketball team, and the Major Harris football team that played Notre Dame for the national championship, 88. Can't think of more fun events than this year, hosting an NCAA women's tournament and hosting these baseball regionals and super regionals just a few months later. Great crowds, great fan support. My worst Mountaineer fan moment, the Pitt game that we lost that cost us a chance to play for the national championship.
You don't have to go to the bad ones.
Yeah, you don't. We don't have to ask that question because there would be a runaway winner there. I agree with the texter.
No doubt. All right, one more here. This year's baseball team feat is a top 5 season along with the 88 football team that legitimately played for the national championship. The 2016 women's soccer run to the College Cup, they finished second, and the 2 Final Four runs. So that's this texter's favorite moments. The College World Series run is huge because the last major sporting event, the NBA, will be wrapped up next week. And West Virginia is right in the middle of all of this national attention.
Well, Hunter jinxed the Knicks last night. So
yeah,
here come the Spurs. Now it's 2-1 in that series.
Yeah, didn't even mention that. Wembanyama had a great game, and Knicks lose at home. The road team has won all 3 games in this season.
Yeah, so there's still life for the Spurs. Deuce has to hold off on his championship ring fitting just a little bit longer, but we'll see how he rallies.
Game 4 is coming up Wednesday. Game 4 of the NHL Finals tonight with Vegas up on Carolina 2-1. That's been a classic series with multiple blown third-period leads. It's happened in every game. And Carolina came back from 4 down and still lost, which was crazy. So, all right, well, safe travels.
Thank you. Talk to you from Omaha.
Brad, Tony, and Hoppy will be in Omaha tomorrow when we rejoin you on the Sportsline.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network. All rights reserved.